The Senate will come to order. The Secretary will call the roll.
Senator Brooks, Senator Buck, Senator Canizaro, Senator Dennis, Senator Doniate, Senator Dondero-Loop, Senator Gokachia, Senator Hammond, Senator Hansen, Senator Hardy,
Here.
Senator Harris, Senator Kekeffer, Senator Lang, Senator Neal, Senator Orenshaw, Senator Pickard, Senator Ratty, Senator Scheibel, Senator Sievers-Gansert, Senator Settlemeyer, Senator Spearman.
Here.
Thank you. Let the record reflect there are 21 senators present. No? Who missed? Oh, Hammond? No. Oh, Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Madam President. Please mark Senator Hammond excused.
Yeah, thank you. Let the record reflect there are 20 senators present and Senator Hammond is excused. Please rise for the invocation by Reverend Chad Adamick from St. Paul's Lutheran Family Church in Carson City.
Thank you, Madam President. I invite you to pray with me. God of justice and mercy, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of this state. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and restraint. Instill with us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are stewards of that which has been given to all in this land. Guide the men and women in this chamber to be the leaders your people need. And finally, Eternal One, renew us with the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of the human person. We ask this, confident in your goodness and love. Amen.
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Order of business number 3, reading and approval of the journal. By previous order of the Senate, the reading of the journal is dispensed with, and the President and Secretary are authorized to make the necessary corrections and additions. Order of business number 4, reports of committee.
Madam President, your Committee on Growth and Infrastructure, to which was referred Senate Bill number 58, has had the same under consideration, begs the report, same back recommendation do pass. Signed, Senator Dallas Harris, Chair. End of reports.
Thank you. Order of business number 9, motions, resolutions, and notices. Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Madam President. Pursuant to Senate Standing Rule number 134-1A, I have authorized Senator Hardy to use remote technology systems to attend, participate, vote, and take any other action in the proceedings of the Senate.
Thank you.
Senate Concurrent Resolution number 3, introduced by Senators Canizaro and Settlemeyer et al. And Assemblyman Frierson and Titus et al., memorializing former State Senator Joseph M. Neal, Jr. Whereas the members of the Nevada Legislature are mourning the passing on December 31st, 2020, of one of their most esteemed colleagues, of Nevada's most accomplished citizens, former State Senator Joseph Joe M. Neal, Jr. And whereas Joseph M. Neal, Jr. was born in Mound, Louisiana on July 28, 1935, and moved to Nevada in 1954. And whereas after completing military service in the United States Air Force, Joe received his B.A. in Political Science and History from Southern University in 1963, and shortly thereafter married his wife of 32 years, Estelle Ann DeConge. And whereas, upon returning to Las Vegas, Joe Neal worked as an equal opportunity compliance officer for one of Southern Nevada's largest employers, tasked with integrating the company, and fought discriminatory practices in Southern Nevada for a decade. And whereas, after Joe Neal was first elected to the state Senate in 1972, becoming the first African-American person to serve in the Nevada State Senate, he went on to serve 16 regular sessions and 7 special sessions from 1972 to 2004, including 8 years in leadership positions as Senate President pro tempore, Assistant Majority Floor Leader, Minority Floor Leader, and Assistant Minority Floor Leader. And whereas Senator Neal served diligently and honorably as chair of the Senate Committee on Human Resources and Facilities and the Senate Committee on Natural Resources. And whereas Joe Neal was the first African American person to be a major party candidate for Nevada governor in 2002. And whereas, as state senator, Joe Neal was a champion for the disadvantaged, sponsoring legislation to secure public safety and strengthening the fire code for commercial buildings, to expand the state library and healthcare systems, and furthering equal rights. And whereas, by his retirement in 2004, Senator Neal was the longest-serving state senator in the history of Nevada and was inducted into the Nevada Senate Hall of Fame in 2005. And whereas Senator Neal received numerous national awards and honors over the years for his legislative service, including the Reverend Jesse Jackson Distinguished Political Award from the NAACP, a Lifetime Commitment Award from the Nevada AFL-CIO, and a Civil Liberty Award from the American Civil Liberties Union of Nevada, and was honored by the naming of the Ross and Neal Hospital Building and Joseph M. Elementary School in his honor. And whereas Senator Neal was tireless in his commitment to the people of the state of Nevada, his dedication to poor and marginalized citizens for the good of the people of this state, and his dedication to public service, which continues on in his daughter, Senator Dina Neal, who was elected to his Senate seat in 2020. And whereas Joseph M. Neal Jr. will long be remembered as one of Nevada's most talented parliamentarians, dedicated protectors of marginalized citizens, and as the conscience of the legislature, whose service will benefit generations of Nevadans. Now therefore be resolved by the Senate of the State of Nevada, the Assembly concurring, that the members of the 81st session of the Nevada Legislature hereby extend their deepest condolences to Senator Neal's children, Cherise, Tanea, Withania, Dina Amelia, and Joseph, and his numerous grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of Senate prepare and transmit copies of this resolution to the family of Joseph M. Neal Jr., and be it further resolved that this resolution becomes effective upon adoption. End of resolution.
Thank you, Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to adopt Senate Concurrent Resolution Number 3.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Settlemyre. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise today in honor of the late Senator Joe Neal. Senator Neal was known to all of us as a champion of the people, a fighter for equality, and a defender of social justice. Senator Neal was also a fearless trailblazer. He was the first Black member ever elected to serve in this body, the first Black president pro tempore, and the first Black nominee for governor in our state's history. His over 30 years of service helped to transform our state and ensure that our representation and the resulting policies were more reflective of our state's diversity. He advanced legislation that has saved countless lives, expanded opportunities for the disenfranchised, and he was a true advocate and fighter for working people. A loving husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather, Senator Neal touched the lives of not just those in his family, but also those in his community and his beloved historic west side of Las Vegas. As we come to the end of Black History Month, it is fitting that we honor the path paved by Senator Neal and give apt recognition to the doors he opened for so many leaders who have changed the course of Nevada politics for the better. We owe that path to him. Because of Senator Neal's fearlessness and his many accomplishments, now Congressman Stephen Horsford, who succeeded Senator Neal, rose to the ranks to become the first Black majority leader in state history. One of my dearest friends and mentors, Attorney General Aaron Ford, also served as majority leader of this chamber and became our state's first Black Attorney General and just the second Black statewide elected official in Nevada history. My amazing colleague, Senator Pat Spearman, whose compassion and fighting spirit inspires me every single day, became the first openly gay Black woman senator in Nevada. And I would be remiss if I did not also mention the service and commitment of Senator Dallas Harris, who is continuing Senator Neal's legacy by paving the way for the next generation of inspiring young Black leaders in Nevada. Across the hall, my friend and colleague, Jason Frierson, is serving as the first Black Speaker of the Nevada Assembly. But maybe most importantly, Senator Joe Neal's legacy lives on with a trailblazer in her very own right. Senator Dina Neal, who now holds a seat her father once represented. She was the first Black woman to be elected to the Nevada Assembly, and I am thankful every day to have her now serving in the Senate with us. I know that just like her father, she will always fight for social justice, equality, and the hardworking people of this state. Today, while we mourn the passing of Senator Joe Neal, I believe it is also crucial that we take this time to celebrate his life and the legacy and honor the invaluable contributions that he undoubtedly made to our state and to this body. I urge my colleagues to vote in favor of the resolution. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any further remarks? Senator Settlemyre.
Thank you, Madam President. I enthusiastically support SCR 3. I remember the stories from my colleagues, from Senator Jacobson, Senator Raggio, Assemblyman Hetrick, about the respect they always gave Senator Neal and how he earned that through the years, through his dedication to the policy and to the procedure, his ability to understand how the body worked through Masons and the standing rules of both the Senate and the Assembly gave him the ability to have such an effect. And the decorum and respect he brought to this institution because of that is what I most marvel at. And in that respect, though, it is an absolute honor to be able to serve with his daughter. In that respect, to see the legacy, in essence, continue on. And it's neat to be able to see him, in the Hall of Fame and how he was inducted in 2005. And with that respect, I enthusiastically support SCR 3 and couldn't be happier for this to be done today. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Settlemyre. Senator Orenshaw.
Thank you, President. I rise in support of Senate Concurrent Resolution 3. I have the privilege of knowing Senator Neal almost my whole life. My first recollection of meeting Senator Neal was as a first grader. One of my colleague from Senate District 4's sisters and I were classmates, and I remember an after-school event and getting to meet this, gentleman with such a deep voice and great character, and I never forget that first meeting I had with Senator Joe Neal. And through the years, the relationship between my family and his was close. I remember his brother Willie Neal being a guest in my house and visiting with him. And then as I got older, I got to realize what a great statesman and advocate Senator Neal was, and how he was not afraid to take on an issue or take on an industry, even if he stood alone and would be the only one in this chamber fighting for that cause. I think many of us remember his last election when, the odds were stacked against him. Everybody thought, that he had just taken on too many fights and taken too many brave stands, and his number was up, and I believe he won that last election by 34 votes. There was a call for a recount. The recount still put him in as the winner, and he still fought, I think, till his last day in this chamber and during his campaign for governor, for the little guy, for the causes that he believed in that so often might never have been championed. So my friendship with Senator Joe Neal and his family dates back to being a small child, but I got to really learn the respect for him as a young adult and what he did for our state. So I urge this body to support Senate Concurrent Resolution 3.
Thank you, Senator Orenshaw. Senator Spearman.
Thank you, Madam President. I only knew Senator Joe Neal for a short time, but the things that I will remember most is after meeting him the first time, every time he saw me, he would either say, "You all are doing good work up there," or "What y'all doing?" And if it seemed like I was taking the wrong course, he had no problem calling me up and suggesting what I should do, and then reminding me that he was my constituent. I cherish and treasure those memories because it's part of the legacy, I believe, of our Black forefathers and foremothers. They always wanted to make sure that we were doing our best, and they had no problem whatsoever telling us when we were not. The only thing missing when Senator Neal would call me was the phrase, "And I'm going to tell your daddy." But I remember him, and I'm sorry to see that he's not here with us, but the memories are there. The memories are there. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Spearman. Senator Neal, I was going to give you the opportunity to go last if you would like that. Okay. Senator Dennis?
Thank you, Madam President. I stand in support of the resolution, and I remember I didn't have the privilege of serving with Senator Neal in the legislature, but the first time I met him was when I was doing some advocacy, whether it was either through PTA or through libraries, and I remember that the influence that he had, that people respected him, and I learned a lot from him. I know that Nevada is a better place today because of his sacrifice, even though, as has already been mentioned, he was willing to stand up for something, even if he was the only one in the room. And I learned a lot in my life in how it's important to stand up for those things. And I know that he was fiercely fighting for his community, and it's helped me in my opportunities to fight for things that he's always one that stood up and would fight for those things. And when he talked to you, you were just, you knew that he cared about you, that it wasn't just, you weren't just a name or a face, but someone that he recognized, and he recognized the work that you do. And so I wholeheartedly support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Dennis. Senator Neal?
Thank you, Madam President. I rise in support of SCR 3. There's so much. It's only been, today actually is one day before we laid him to rest. So we buried him on January 26th. So we're almost at our 1 month mark. And when I think about, I guess, the legacy that I'm walking into and that I've walked into pretty much my whole life, because when he became the first black senator was the year that I was born. And so for me to become the first black woman to hold the seat in 2011 on the assembly is just that the first that I experienced with him and I was able to be a part of have been larger than what I've ever imagined. I didn't expect to run for a seat. There were different challenges, but I appreciated that he was alive when I did win, and that he was there to ask me about the race, even though it was a pandemic. And when I listen to my colleagues who talked about how he fought against the odds, that was him even in sickness. He always fought against the odds. And his capacity to stand alone for a fight that he believed in is something that I know is a part of who I am. And it's one of those things where you carry a burden to stand up for people, even when other people don't believe in the issue that you believe in, that I think he left me with. And he left me with an indomitable spirit to fight no matter what. And also bipartisanship, because he would talk to me about it, and he would talk to me about, sometimes you just have to do the right thing, and sometimes it's not a party thing, it's a people thing. And if you serve people, if you serve and do what the Constitution asks you to do, you can never go wrong. And if you can always go home and look at yourself in the mirror, then you know you've done the right thing. And he was like, and if you always tell the truth, then you never have to remember what you said because you never lied. And so I lived and breathed that my whole life. And when I had a chance to look at the legacy, and when we were talking about the ERA, and he fought for the ERA in 1977. He got it out of the Senate by maneuvering the rules, and then it died in the Assembly. And then in 1979, when he tried to do bail reform, I didn't even realize it, that when I was attempting to do it in 2017 and 2019, that he had already had the thoughts. And so when I look at the minutes and the journal, and I read everything that he did, I find myself walking in his footsteps, even when I didn't know I was. And It's been an interesting experience to walk in this body and see him on the wall every day. And I am an extremely strong person. But not having him daily and getting my 15 calls a day of what happened, what's going on, here's what you need to do, read this, do that, is it's an unimaginable place to be in, because he became, not only, he was my father, but he was my friend. He was the closest person to me. And the level of respect that I had for him was far and beyond, because I saw what he came from. And he was a person who wasn't raised by his mother. And he found a way to be the strongest man that I know. And he helped so many people in the community. And when I walked neighborhoods, they would remind me, even after 2004, and I'm walking neighborhoods in 2020, that they remembered his legacy. They remembered who he was. Their children and their grandchildren would speak his name as if he had just left office. And that's a powerful place to be, when you can leave such an imaginable presence that it permeates and it just stays and it rests in a community that you'd stopped serving in 2004, and 16 years later, the people are saying, I understand and I love him, and I love you for taking on his seat, and whatever it takes, I will be there and I will have your back. And that is powerful, and I didn't know it until you go out and you walk your district and you understand the level of the impact that a human being can have on people. And his was great, and it crossed all races. I have people who called me from Switzerland who had he had an impact on them. And it crossed not just African Americans, but Filipino, Latino, white. It was everyone. And I appreciate this resolution, and I appreciate the time that's been given towards it. And just thank you. Thank you to my colleagues in the Senate. And when you see me fire up, some of that fire is something I can't contain. It is a part of who I am, and it will happen, because when I get passionate about something, I will stand for it and I will fight for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Neal. I believe there are no further remarks. Hearing none, all those in favor, this resolution here, Senator Joe Neal, signify by saying yay. Opposed?
Yay.
That's right, Senator Spearman. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that all necessary rules be suspended and that Senate Concurrent Resolution Number 3 be immediately transmitted to the Assembly.
Thank you. You have heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying yay. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Resolution is ordered and immediately transmitted to the Assembly. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Madam President. May we proceed to order of business number 16 to watch a video paying tribute to our former colleague, Senator Joe Neal.
Absolutely. Order of business number 16, remarks from the floor.
My name is Sharice Neal Washington. I am the firstborn daughter of State Senator Joe Neal. And you wanted to know the fondest memory we had growing up with my father. There are so many, but one is a very funny one to me. I remember we had to read the encyclopedias, not just any encyclopedias. We had to read A through Z in the summertime. And while I watching out of the window, while I saw my friends enjoying and playing, I was so upset and sad that I had to read instead of play. By the time I read encyclopedia letter Z and do a book report, it was time to go back to school. However, I am so grateful for this because I fell in love with books and I read with understanding to this day. I'm a grant writer and a researcher. I love to study things. Also, I love history because of the fact that Dad taught us to read. And so, Daddy, I thank you for teaching me. I thank you for teaching me to shake the tree and to shake my tree, provoking us to action and transformation. I love you forever. And I want to thank the legislature also for his legacy, taking the time out to pay tribute to State Senator Joe Neal, my dad. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I am the third daughter with Anya, the pharmacist, since he always introduced us by profession. A good memory I have of him is about 2 years ago, we were driving back from Sacramento and we went through Lake Tahoe, through Carson City, all the way back home to Las Vegas. A drive that took him 7 hours usually was taking us 12 hours because he was reminiscent about everything that he's done for the state of Nevada and how proud he was for the contributions that he did for the land of Nevada and the people of Nevada. I appreciate you memorializing my father. I'm glad that he's not going to be forgotten. I thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tania Neal Edwards, and it is a pleasure and an honor to speak on behalf of our father. The fondest memory I have, they are many, but the one that I will always cherish are our visits to Carson City and Reno and Lake Tahoe. He would drive and through those mountains with ease and grace, even though he had a lead foot, and sometimes he would fog up the window on the side. But he was so good at maneuvering those mountains. He would whip through them like whipped butter. And we will always remember those trips to Lake Tahoe and Carson City and Reno and Virginia City. Every time we would go, he would take us to those places like we had never been there before, but we would enjoy every time we would go and get ice cream, and just he would give us the history of Nevada and Lake Tahoe, and that will be one of my fondest memories. And we also want to thank you for honoring him and on this day, and thank you to the Senate and the Assembly for all your kind words. It has meant so much to our family. God bless. Thank you again.
Hello, I am Marshila Lyons, and I want to offer my sincere condolences to Senator Dina Neal and the entire Neal family on the passing of Senator Joe Neal. My family shares in your grief and in your remembrance of a life that was well lived. I met Senator Neal over 20 years ago when I started working at the Legislative Council Bureau in the Research Division. According to Senator Neal and others, I was the first African-American committee policy analyst in Nevada legislative history. I was privileged to work with Senator Neal as he served the citizens of Nevada in his elected capacity. I was also honored to receive his counsel and encouragement. In those times when I felt inadequate because of my own lack of confidence or others' lack of confidence in me, Senator Neal reminded me that I was competent, qualified, and capable of meeting the demands of my job. His encouragement bolstered my confidence, and today I am proud to serve as the Deputy Research Director of the Research Division of the Legislative Council Bureau. In many ways, Senator Neal reminded me of my father, who was born in the same small towns in Louisiana. Upon meeting him and learning this, I wondered if all of the men born in that part of the country had big booming voices and a formidable presence, as my father also fits into this category. Senator Neal used these gifts and all of who he was to serve the people of this great state. His mastery of legislative procedure and rules was unmatched, his oratorical skills were unrivaled, and his commitment to do what he believed was right was undeniable. Even upon his retirement, he still participated in the process and offered a voice to many when they felt unheard. I am grateful that my path crossed with Senator Joe Neal's, and I'm humbled by the confidence he placed in me. I commit to his family to walk and work in such a way that the confidence he placed in me will never be considered in vain. Thank you all for sharing him with us, and we pray for God's strength, comfort, and healing during your time of bereavement. God bless you.
Hello, I'm Dina Titus. I want to express my deepest condolences to the family of Senator Joe Neal for their loss. I thank you for allowing me to share this message and attempt to put into words the extraordinary legacy of Joe Neal. Senator Neal devoted a lifetime to the pursuit of social justice for the African American community and economic equality for all working class Nevadans. I served with Joe in the Nevada State Senate for 13 years. He was a giant of a man, in stature, in principle, and in the impact he had on Nevada. Joe Neal was always willing to fight for what was right, even against the greatest odds. He may have been outnumbered, but he was never outsmarted. Joe led seminal bills to restore the rights of felons, build libraries in underserved communities, preserve Lake Tahoe, pass the Equal Rights Act of 1977, and force casinos to add fire prevention sprinkler systems, setting a national safety standard. Joe also knew the rules of parliamentary procedure better than anyone, and he advised me when I was first elected to learn them too, because that would give me an edge over my colleagues, and we could use process to our advantage, especially when in the minority. I'll never forget the night when the Republicans marched off the floor in a fit of pique, and Senator Raggio forgot to formally adjourn. Joe noticed. He just waited until they'd exited the building. We then reconvened, had the legislative police round up 2 Republicans in their pajamas, so we had a quorum, and the Democrats proceeded to run the board. It was a historic move, and people still talk about it. I spent long hours with Joe over lunches after he retired from the Senate, and I'll miss those talks. He gave me advice. He told stories about the old days. He made predictions about political events and races. He had a laugh that could light up a room and a voice that could light up a movement. There's an elementary STEAM school named for Joe. He was very proud of that honor. So I admonished the children there to stop and take a moment to think about the school's namesake and send Senator Joe Neal a little thank you for giving them a better chance in life.
This video is for Senator Joe Neal. I first met him probably 1980 when I was interviewing candidates for the Teachers Association and for their endorsements. And I still remember how delightful the senator was. He was so smart and witty, and that little chuckle of his. And he wowed the whole committee, and of course we endorsed him. This is June Keliani, former Assemblywoman and County Commissioner. I had the privilege of being elected in 1990 to the State Assembly. And one of the first things I did was go down the hall and ask to meet with Senator Joe Neal to talk about his advice. And he started calling me, our pet name was Baby Girl. And what he said was, baby girl, learn the rules. The rules, along with Mason's Manual, will dictate everything that you can do, whether you move legislation forward or you try to take something back. And he was so spot on. He was always a confidant. We stayed in touch. We had lunches, usually at Landry's till they closed it. And then the last one I had was with him and Assemblyman Doug Bechet at Comal's in Commercial Center. And we had a delightful afternoon. He was on my Gray's Leadership Academy Board of Directors, a new program that I started up to educate young people, people of color, LGBTQ, young girls, on how do you access and work within the political scene. And I was so proud to have him as one of our first board members. He will be sorely missed. I have to say that he was my mentor, he was my friend, and I loved him. The state of Nevada is a better place because of Senator Neal. Thank you.
It was an early May 2020 phone call from Wathania Neal that changed my life forever. That's when she told me that her dad, State Senator Joe Neal, had been transported to the hospital. 1,000 thoughts and memories raged through my mind as tears flowed down my cheeks. And in those reflections, I bounced all over the place, and I landed on 1996 when I returned home from my televised debate in my first campaign. I didn't feel very good about it, and as I was walking through the door, the phone was ringing, and it was Senator Neal, and he said, "You're in." I hadn't believed that until that moment. However, his words elevated me. During my first year and my first session as a senator, I sat on the third row. I was the least tenured senator there, and I would watch as I looked down on the chamber to what would be my left corner, as Senator Neal would stand and share amazing wisdom and insights and passion through his orations on the floor. And I started to build a friendship. And we would spar at times. We might not agree, and we'd laugh a lot. And we established traditions. Every year on his birthday, we would have lunch at his favorite restaurant, and on my birthday, at my favorite restaurant. When Senator Neal chose not to run again and retire after 32 years, he was inducted into the Senate Hall of Fame. He sat next to me on the floor as I stood with great pride to honor him with my words, and spoken in a way that only passion could drive them. In 2019, Joe returned to Carson City to sit with me on the floor as I was inducted into the Nevada State Senate Hall of Fame. I think back to 2002 when Joe ran for governor. He shared with me that he had gone down to the election department just to see how it was going that final day of filing. And at about 5 to 5, he added his name to the list of candidates, and his was the solitary name from the Democratic Party for governor. He said we needed to have a Democrat on the ballot. And he shared with me the different campaign experiences he had, and usually had a lot of laughter along the way. In late October into early November, I was in the hospital having had surgery, and every day Joe visited me and sat with me for hours. Now, he probably should have been campaigning. However, he sat with me. And on election day, I was released. I came home, and for all those hours following my return into the wee hours of the morning after the election, Joe sat in that rocking chair next to my bed, rocking very gently to lend support to my recovery. In 2014, after my brother's death, I learned that my brother had some keepsakes that were family heirlooms that I would like to have, except they couldn't be mailed. Joe said, "I'll go get them." So he got in his car very early one morning and drove from southern Nevada up to Reno and an hour beyond into Northern California. picked up the backpack of keepsakes. Not a lot, but they were meaningful. He turned around and drove them home to me so that I could have them as soon as possible. The memories are so many. All those political debates we would watch together and not always agree with what we were seeing and then laugh about it. The many visits and the countless daily email messages that we exchanged and telephone calls. What a friendship we have grown for 25 years. And when I received a call early New Year's Eve from Withania, telling me that her dad had been transported to the hospital again, I still had hope that he would welcome the new year with the rest of us. And when I awakened on New Year's Day, I saw and listened to the voice message from Senator Dina Neal telling me the end was near. And that call had come in at 9:55 the night before. And I also saw the time on the text that Withania had sent me at 10:31 that her dad had transitioned. And it didn't register with me right away. However, it didn't take long for me to appreciate so much that the family allowed me to be with them, with their father in those final minutes. Thank you. Thank you so much. I cannot find words to tell you what that means to me. And one thing I can tell you about Joe is his energy is still alive. His energy continues to live within me and with the family and with everyone who shared space with him, with everyone who has heard his voice or read his words or studied his history. Joe Neal, State Senator Joe Neal.
He saw the best in me.
Thank you, Senator Neal, for allowing us to honor your dad here today. Let's go now back to order business number 9, motions, resolutions, and notices.
Senate Joint Resolution Number 3, introduced by Senate Committee on Natural Resources, urges Congress to provide funding to reduce the wild horse and burro populations to appropriate management levels. End of resolution.
Thank you. Senator Donyate.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the Senate Joint Resolution 3 be referred to the Committee on Natural Resources.
Thank you. Senator Donyate has moved Senate Joint Resolution 3 to the Committee on Natural Resources. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Senate Joint Resolution Number 4, introduced by Senate Committee on Natural Resources, urges Congress to grant additional school trust lands to Nevada. End of resolution.
Thank you. Senator Donyate.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the Senate Joint Resolution 4 be referred to the Committee on Natural Resources.
Thank you. Senator Donyate has referred Senate Joint Resolution 4 to the Committee on Natural Resources. Are there any objections to the referral? Not, so ordered.
And Senator Harris has approved the addition of Senator Hansen as a co-sponsor on Senate Bill 143.
Thank you. Senator Dondero Loop.
Thank you, Madam President. Pursuant to Senate Standing Rule number 112.3, I request my name be removed as a sponsor to Senate Bill 138.
And that concludes order of business number 9.
Thank you. Order of business number 10, introduction, first reading, and reference.
Senate Bill number 146, introduced by Senator Orenshaw, revises provisions relating to mental health services for children. End of bill.
Thank you. Senator Orenshaw.
Thank you, President. I move that Senate Bill 146 be referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services.
Thank you. Senator Orenshaw has moved Senate Bill 146 to the Committee on Health and Human Services. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill number 147, introduced by Senate Committee on Judiciary, establishes provisions relating to conditions of release that prohibit the contact or attempted contact of certain persons. End of bill.
Thank you. Senator Scheibel.
Thank you. I move that Senate Bill 147 be referred to the Judiciary Committee.
Thank you. Senator Scheibel has moved Senate Bill 147 to the Committee on the Judiciary. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill number 148, introduced by Senator Harris, establishes provisions regarding the reporting of hate crimes. End of bill.
Thank you. Senator Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that Senate Bill 148 be referred to the Committee on Judiciary.
Thank you. Senator Harris has moved Senate Bill 148 to the Committee on Judiciary. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill number 149, introduced by Senate Committee on Natural Resources, revises provisions relating to groundwater boards. End of bill.
Thank you. Senator Neal.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that Senate Bill 149 be referred to the Committee on Natural Resources.
Thank you. Senator Dunyate has moved Senate Bill 149 to the Committee on Natural Resources. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill number 150, introduced by Senator Harris, etc., makes changes to provisions relating to housing. End of bill.
Thank you. Senator Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that Senate Bill 150 be referred to the Committee on Government Affairs.
Thank you. Senator Harris has moved Senate Bill 150 to the Committee on Government Affairs. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill number 151, introduced by Senators Dondero, Loop, and Lang, revises provisions relating to education. End of bill.
Thank you. Senator Dondero Loop.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to refer Senate Bill 151 to the Committee on Education.
Thank you. Senator Dondero Loop has referred Senate Bill 151 to the Committee on Education. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill number 152, introduced by Senators Buck, etc., and Assemblyman Dickman, etc., revises provisions relating to education. End of bill.
Thank you. Senator Buck.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that Senate Bill number 152 be referred to the Committee on Education.
Thank you. Senator Buck has referred Senate Bill 152 to the Committee on Education. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Senate Bill number 153, introduced by Senators Harding, Gokichi, and Assemblywoman Titus, revises provisions relating to the observance of time by the state of Nevada in its political subdivisions. End of bill.
Thank you. Senator Hardy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam, I'll move that we refer Senate Bill 153 to the Committee on Government Affairs.
Thank you. Senator Hardy has referred Senate Bill 153 to the Committee on Government Affairs. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
And that concludes order of business number 10 and business of the desk for this legislative day.
Thank you. Order of business number 16. Remarks from the floor. Senator Buck.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today I rise to acknowledge that Mining Day was yesterday at the Nevada Legislature. 37,000 Nevada families spread across our great state trace their livelihood back to Nevada's 12th largest industry, mining. The age-old adage of, if it's not grown, it's mined, holds true today, where Nevada miners, by operating on less than 0.5% of Nevada's vast land, produce 20 essential minerals for everyday life and play a leading role in providing the raw materials to help secure our nation's energy independence. Though most of us who represent urban areas think of mining as solely operating in rural areas, Senate District 5 is home to Equinox Mining and Barrick's North American headquarters. Additionally, one of mining's largest vendors, Cashman Caterpillar, sits only 1 mile outside of my district, Senate District 5. In Senate District 20, my colleagues, Senator Pickard's district, thus the impacts of mining careers can be felt from the foot of the rubies to the halo of the Nevada Strip. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to the men and women who represent the mining industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Buck. Senator Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. So today is likely going to be the last working day of Black History Month across the country. Black history is, in fact, Nevada history. Black Nevadans have done an exemplary job contributing towards our state's growth and production. This is a group of people who have prevailed beyond the confines of de facto segregation, constricting Black Las Vegas residents to the historic West Side. This is a group of Nevadans who ratified our 14th Amendment in 1872 at the state level, when 7-year-old David Stoutmeyer fought for access to attend public schools with white children. Hattie Canty and her leadership affecting the growth of one of our country's most powerful unions in Culinary 226. Ruby Duncan's efforts in coming up to Carson City to secure rights for mothers impoverished at the hands of systemic racism. Charles Keller, enabling inclusion opportunities for Black lawyers, such as Judge A.D. Guy, Robert Archie, Judge Carrot Bennett Herron, and Justice Michael Douglas, and many more. Now, I know you guys can't talk about Black History Month without Sandra Neal, and so, of course, I'm going to make sure I make reference to him as well, the first Black state senator. His iconic example of speaking up for those who felt voiceless paved the way for generations to come. Let's not lose sight of the necessary courage that Sandra Neal showed, which is needed for Nevada to reach its full potential. And I hope that the presentation today really makes us all rethink what is possible, what we are all capable of doing, and how we fall far, far short of some of our larger giants in our efforts. These are just a few examples of outstanding Nevadans who happen to be Black. Let's continue celebrating these momentous achievements coming from Nevada's Black community while remaining cognizant of the positive impact equitable policies can have on our state. Recognition of these important contributions are imperative as we continue to write Nevada's history. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Senator Dennis.
Thank you, Madam President. We have just received news that 2 Nevada students have been selected to join Senator Catherine Cortez Masto and Senator Jackie Rosen in Washington, D.C. at the 59th Annual U.S. Senate Youth Program Washington Week, taking place virtually on March 14th through the 18th, 2021. Joanna Bita, a senior at Advanced Technologies Academy in Las Vegas, and Alexander Wong, a senior at West Career and Technical Academy in Las Vegas, were chosen from among Nevada's extraordinary student leaders to participate in the YSSYP. Joanna and Alex will also each receive a $10,000 college scholarship for undergraduate study. And the reason I mention this is because Joanna is a senior at Advanced Technologies. She is one of our has been a youth legislator for Senate District 5, and Alexander has been a youth legislator for Senate District 8. So 2 of our very own that we have had the opportunity to help train and provide leadership and have learned from their leadership have been selected for this prestigious honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Dennis. Are there any further remarks? Senator Canizaro?
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate stand in adjournment until the hour of 11 a.m. on Monday, March 1st, 2021.
Thank you. You have heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying yay. Just a minute, please.
And Madam President, I would, at the request of my, and at the request of all of the body and my colleague who so aptly reminded me from Senate District 17, in honor of Senator Joe Neal.
Yes. Thank you. You have heard the motion that we should adjourn until Monday in honor of the great Senator Joe Neal and his family. Senator Neal here today. You have heard that motion. All those in favor signify by saying yay. Opposed, nay. The motion carries. The Senate is adjourned in honor of Senator Joe Neal. Thank you.